Alright everybody, this is the start of part 9. This is December 8th, and I want to give everybody a close look at my progress so far on the yellow submarine. The last couple weekends I've taken it down to my shop and applied the yellow chrome. What I plan on doing today is hit it with some 1000 grit sandpaper and wet sand it. I just want to give everybody a close look. I knew I'd have overspray up on the conning tower on this rail that goes around the scopes. If the camera picks it up, you can see, and I'll have to touch that up with some paint. No big thing. Overall, I think the paint job turned out pretty good. I've got some rough spots. I'll sand that out with the 1000 grit sandpaper, and then if everything goes good tonight and I take it down to the spray booth tomorrow, shouldn't take more than a couple more coats, and then if that turns out alright, I'll be able to hit it with a clear coat and then move on to the next step, which this panel here, and there's a big panel below. I want to probably hit it with a different lighter shade of yellow, probably Tamiya or what I've got in stock, and then just tone it down a little bit. Then if that turns out good, I'll hit it with another coat of clear coat. I figured I'd give everybody a quick update on what I'm doing with the yellow submarine. I'll talk with everybody later. Alright everybody, another update on the yellow submarine. This is Saturday, December 9th, and last night I used 1000 grit sandpaper and some water, and it's real smooth, just what I'm looking for. There's a few tiny rough spots yet that I need to work out. I still need to sand the bottom of the sub, and all I'm using is a little cup of water here, and you can see a little bit of the paint that comes off the 1000 grit sandpaper, which is typical. And then these shop rags are real soft compared to a paper towel that I'm wiping off the excess of the paint, but overall it's looking good. And then to look at the conning tower, you can see I've got some overspray on the floor of the conning tower. I'm going to have to touch all that up, but minor. I did the whole top of the sub, and it's really nice and smooth. There's some areas I may have missed. I'll double check it. I'm going to try everything today to get it back down to the spray booth and hit it with another couple coats of paint. If not, there's always next weekend. But she's coming along really good and looking real good with the wet sanding that I'm doing to it. And I just have to get the bottom done. But I figured I'd give everybody a quick update on the progress on my yellow submarine, and I'll talk with everybody later. Alright everybody, this is Saturday, December 16th. I have the yellow submarine down in the spray booth. I'm going to get ready to mask off the scopes and hit it with a couple more coats of yellow paint. The chrome yellow right here, duplicolor. With the spray gun, I got this regulator right here. I had to adjust that to about 14 psi coming out of the gun. I have that set up. Once I get everything set up and ready to paint, I'll go ahead and set the camera up for that part. So let me get the sub ready here, and I'll talk with everybody later. Alright everybody, I got everything set up. I got the camera zoomed in on the yellow submarine, so I'm going to get my mask on and go ahead and give this another couple coats of paint. I have to do the bottom real good, so I'm going to have to hold up that stand and get the bottom real good. Hopefully that'll be in frame. So let me get my mask on and I'll get right into painting. Alright everybody, back on the yellow submarine. When I was filming, the battery died on the camera, so I had to put it on charge. But I was almost finished with painting the yellow submarine. And I got a little overspray, whether the camera picks it up with the lighting here. Got a little overspray right in here where my finger is. I'm going to have to hit it with the 1500 grit sandpaper, wet sand it with the 1500 grit. And everything goes according to the label on the duplicolor can. Then I should be able to hit this with the 1500 grit, wet sand it, and if it turns out right, then I can hit it with a clear coat. I'm still in the experimental stages with the gun. I mean, it's new to me, pretty good with an airbrush, but this still on my learning stages with this. Overall, I think I'm doing a good job with the spray gun. The yellow submarine does look pretty good. I think keep my fingers crossed that that's it with the paint. I'll wet sand it here maybe this weekend and finish it up and see how it turns out. Then I go to the next step. So I figured I'd give everybody a quick update on the yellow submarine, and I'll talk with everybody later. Alright everybody, this is December 23rd, and I had the yellow submarine in my workshop. And what I'm going to be doing today is wet sanding it. I got the sorted sandpaper right here, but I'm going to use 1500 grit. I picked this up from the part store, and it's got 1000, 15, 2000, and 2500. And last time I wet sanded this, it was with 1000 grit, and I'm going to use 1500 now, and it should do the job. Keep my fingers crossed. I don't think it's going to need any more chrome yellow. I think I'm finally done with that stage. On the inside here, where these hatches are, I'm going to probably apply a lighter shade of yellow to go with the panel right here and the panel on the rear, and then I got a larger panel on the bottom. Also, I'm going to have to clean up the conning tower floor and the rail, and may have to touch up a little bit of the scopes, but not a lot of work up there. And I knew there was going to be overspray. That's just part of building a kit, and the little mistakes you can make with the overspray. It's not a lot of overspray, but I knew that was going to happen, so touch that up. That's not going to be a big thing. I have the fin here masked off, so once I finish with the wet sanding and that looks good, then I can hit it with a clear coat. Then go on to my next step with repainting this fin. It's white, but I'm going to have to touch it up. So I'm going to pause the camera here in a minute. I want to film a few minutes of the wet sanding. I don't want to bore everybody, but I don't think anybody's done it on YouTube yet. I could be wrong about that, but I figured I'd put that in the video. Just a few minutes of wet sanding it, maybe on one side, just to show that it's not all that hard to do. So let me pause the camera, set that all up, and I'll get back with everybody here in a minute. Alright everybody, I got the camera set up. I'm going to do a little wet sanding here for a few minutes and let everybody take a look at it, and I'll get started. Once that's done, I'll pause the camera, continue working on the yellow submarine. So let me get started. Here's a piece I cut, not very big, about an inch. I got my little cup of water. And I just dab it into the cup, and then just apply it to the model. And I just lightly go over the model, just like I did before. And it does the trick. Makes it nice and smooth. And you can see on the sandpaper, just very little coming off. Alright everybody, I just don't want to bore everybody on what I'm doing here. I figured I'd give a few minutes here showing everybody how the wet sand. I'll continue working on the yellow submarine, and I'll talk with everybody later. Alright everybody, this is the final update for part 9 on the yellow submarine. Christmas weekend, last weekend I worked on the sub. I hit it with 1500 grit wet sand, sanded it with 1500 grit. I touched up the conning tower, the floor, the rail, everything's looking good. It's got a nice little shine to it, it's really nice and smooth. I think it's ready for its first clear coat. This panel back here, this one up front and the one on the bottom, can probably hit it with a flat yellow. I think it'll look good with that chrome, but I won't do that until after I hit it with a clear coat. Sub looks good. It's all nice and smooth. It's got a nice shine to it. You can see with the light hitting it. It was a real challenge with this chrome yellow, working on the yellow submarine, but I like the results. Everything turned out really good. I'm going to still touch up a little bit on the conning tower and the scopes. Got to double check everything and make sure everything looks good before I hit it with a clear coat. So I'm gonna call this a wrap for part 9. I'd like to thank all my YouTube subscribers. I could thank everybody for watching. Subscribe to my channel. Everybody have a safe and happy new year. This is the last video I'll post for 2017. I'll work more this weekend on the sub, and I'll talk with everybody later.